Two of the fascinating quarterback stories heading into the 2013 season are at the two Virginia schools, Virginia Tech and UVA, but for very different reasons. On the phone, Norm Wood, who covers the ACC for the Daily Press and Newport News. Norm, let's start with Virginia Tech's Logan Thomas. Even he would admit his junior season was disappointing. What's the feeling in Blacksburg after spring practices?
Well, Jeff, there's still some work to be done, clearly, and I think with new offensive coordinator Scott Loeffler in there, clearly there was going to be some transition just in terminology alone. Maybe the greatest advantage that Logan has right now is the fact that they're sticking with the pro-style offense. As you kind of alluded to, that what Logan's really got to get comfortable with is simply throwing the ball. I mean, he completed, I believe, 51% of his passes last year, and what Loeffler and Thomas have worked on was just kind of keeping everything lined up. It's a lot of right shoulder over right hip over right foot, just keeping things lined up. And, of course, he had the 3 interceptions in the spring game, which the coaching staff contends weren't all his fault. Clearly, there's still a lot to be learned as far as reads are concerned and just getting comfortable with what Loeffler is teaching right now, because they've only installed a quarter of the offense, and kind of a mixed bag of results in the spring. He does look more comfortable, but there's still a long ways to go, I think, before he becomes a really effective passer, and he's got 3 or 4 months to get it done.
You mentioned the 3 interceptions in the spring game. 2 of them were returned for touchdowns. Let's jump to Charlottesville, where the QB position is completely unsettled, even though Phillip Sims is back. But so is David Watford, who redshirted last year. Norm, break down the battle there.
That is a little more uncertain than what's going on in Blacksburg, because at least in Blacksburg they know who their guy is going to be. I really got the sense coming out of the spring that they don't have a clue yet in Charlottesville. Now, having said that, I think it's pretty clear that they like what they saw from David Watford. Watford looks comfortable throwing the ball. He's got a great arm. He just needs to become a little more accurate, and I think he might have a really good chance of winning that job in August. Sims is an interesting situation only because, as you mentioned, he was the guy that came out last season with more experience than any of the quarterbacks they were looking at. Sims was probably 3rd on the list as far as reps were concerned. He seems to be having an issue kind of picking up things from new offensive coordinator Steve Fairchild, and he's got a ways to go as far as growth is concerned, it seems like, in the new offense. Lambert, he's 6'5", again, a redshirt freshman, maybe a little young at this point, but he got more reps in the spring game than either Watford and Sims combined. Maybe a little early for him to start this coming season, but maybe not. He's very much in the mix. So those 3 guys, you got to throw Lambert in the mix too, along with Sims and Watford going into August.
Well, Coach Mike Leonard and offensive coordinator Steve Fairchild clearly have some decisions to make in August. Norm Wood of the Daily Press and Newport News, thank you. You're watching the ACC Digital Network, brought to you by Ruby Tuesday.